Today, interviewing a Bills fan about all that has been and is to come for the city of Buffalo.
Let's go.
Let's talk Bills. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to Let's Talk Lions. Today, we are interviewing a Buffalo Bills fan, my brother, Bobby. Let's talk Bills.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bobby,
Let's do it.
Thank you for coming on the show. Welcome to Let's Talk Lions. Obviously, this is a Lions show.
Yep, right on.
However, being that the Lions are nowhere near the playoffs, I'm broadening the scope and we're covering different teams. And so today I want to interview you, a Buffalo Bills fan. I just want to cover a bunch of different areas of Buffalo Bills football. I think it's safe to say, from my own opinion, on the outside, the Buffalo Bills fan base is the best fan base in the NFL.
Absolutely. Chiefs Kingdom, Honolulu Blue, like there are some dedicated fan bases out there, and
Sure.
Until you go to a Buffalo Bills game, I mean, it's out of control. Just the tables, all the stories are real. I mean, look it up on YouTube. It's rated R. It's next level stuff. So enjoy. Barstool Sports did a great little mini documentary a few years ago when we were struggling. And but yeah, the birth of Bills Mafia, the breaking of tables. I mean, the bowling ball shots. I mean, it's wild. Pinto Ron, there's nothing like it. If you have a Buffalo Bills fan in your life, ask them to take you to a game.
You gotta
go.
You got it. I remember you telling me, you were like, Jay, you have to come to a Bills game. You said it's gonna blow your mind.
Yes.
And so I was like, all right. So I drive across Canada. We drive across. We come. It's the Lions Bills game. I think it was 2017.
I think
maybe
it was 2018.
2018.
It was Allen's rookie year.
It was unbelievable, the experience, just seeing Bills fans. And even like wearing my Lions gear, people were the kindest people to me.
Yeah, right on.
And Buffalo Bills fans, some guy gave me a hug, looked at me and said...
That was at the Ravens game, right?
Oh, at the Baltimore game, yes. Some guy throws his beer in the trash can, misses, and I pick it up and I just put it in. And he was like, he's like, go Bills, man. I was like... I said, first of all, go Bills.
Yeah.
I said, second of all, I'm actually a Lions fan. And the guy put his hand out, grabbed my hand and said... We're kin.
Let's go.
I was like,
yes.
I just want, this is where I want to be.
Yes, just hugging people, just slapping high fives.
I got so many hugs.
Oh my gosh. It's infectious. So much so, my one buddy, grew up here in the New York, New Jersey area, tri-state area. He grew up watching the Giants, low-key allegiance to them, but no real true allegiance to them. He comes up, I invite him to come to a Bills game, and converts. It was crazy. And I wasn't gonna push it. It was like, I just want you to enjoy this football game with me.
Because the experience in and of itself is so great.
Oh my, and he just walks away and is like I'm a Bills fan. I don't know when it happened. I don't know when the conversion
right.
Somewhere in the grass lot, as metal music is playing and people are just punching Tom Brady punching bags. You're just
effigies.
The infectious community, the love of this thing that has only bred misery for you for so long. What it has done for this city, I mean, I love being a part of Bills Mafia, and it's painful. And you know it, as a Lions fan, there is so much pain. And I don't know, I think sometimes, maybe it's just because we're brothers, but in a way, I feel like our cities, their destinies are intertwined.
They
in a way.
They are absolutely intertwined.
We're like sister cities.
I would not doubt, the Super Bowl that I would want to see is a Lions-Bills Super Bowl, because I think the fans of both teams would look at each other and be like, you know what? If you win, I'm happy.
Yes.
I'm happy either way. Something you said that I want to key in on is you brought up the misery of the past. Now, we are looking at what is the best Bills team my eyes have ever seen, 28 years of life.
Me too.
So, you as a Bills fan, how long have you been a Bills fan? Tell me about you becoming a Buffalo Bills fan.
Right on. Well, I love this. Actually, it's kind of a tradition at the Bills backer bar that I go to. On occasion, I try to go to one or two games. They ask that question a lot. So it's really, really cool to hear the fans who are showing up, what's their story? What's their origin story? So just thinking about that, I was 19 years old, met my future wife, and she was born and raised in Buffalo. First trip up to Buffalo, head up there, and you're just driving through upstate New York, everything is gray, and it's just this long, you're taking, yes, right? You're just driving through like the
Mines of Moria.
Yes. The environment itself is just gray, and you're just like, there's a shed painted with just a Bills logo on it. You're like, what the heck is going on? You see like a battle torn, worn flag just waving in the wind of like a 1990s red helmet Buffalo Bill flag. Just like it's ripped, it's frayed, it's just waving. It's been there since Jim Kelly was leading the Bills, and that like somebody put that flag in the Look, I'm from New Jersey, New York. Like, you root for whoever the heck you want. Like, you got the Jets, you got the Giants, but like nobody cares. Patriots fans, they're just fan, that fan.
People just pick a team.
Yeah, they pick a team. It's like, oh, that logo's cool.
Yeah,
You're
I like the colors.
It's like so universalist. You're like, you could root for whoever you want to, and nobody even bats an eye.
Sure.
Look, you don't do that in Buffalo. I was blown away as a 19-year-old kid who was raised in this area where it's like, oh, you root for whoever you want.
Yeah.
You go up there, it's like, no. There's one team in football season, and we don't care if they're 0-16. We don't care. We're repping them. We're repping them hard. And I was so blown away. My heart just was won over by the absolute adoration that this city poured out for their team.
Right.
And I could not believe everywhere you turned, Bills hat, Bills stuff at a gas station, a shed painted in red, white, and blue, go Bills. And you're like, what's their record this year? Are they like, 5-11? What the heck?
Yeah.
How do you love this thing? So, and until you kind of step into that story and for anybody out there that's kind of interested in the Bills, watch Four Falls of Buffalo.
Unbelievable documentary.
I do cry every time.
There it is.
Every time at a different spot. But the Scott Norwood, when they're pulling him out, we want Scott. Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff. And so,
because let's face it, that's like one of the main differences when I look at the Bills, the Browns, the Lions. The thing is, the Bills saw 4 Super Bowls. They saw the promised land 4 times. 4 times walking away in absolute misery. And so there's a difference of the misery.
Yeah.
Right? Because for Buffalo fans, for the fans that are now 60, 70, 80 years old, for the young fans that are in their 20s, there's history of success, but not the pinnacle. So close. Whereas you look at Lions fans, we've never even seen the Super Bowl. We haven't gotten a playoff win since 92, since I think 3 days before I was born, January 18th.
There you go.
3 days before I was born, 92. Browns fans, the team disbands. It comes back in 99. They haven't seen a playoff berth since 2002.
It's hard.
And here they are fighting for it. And so, these 3 teams have their misery, and it's a different type of misery.
They go beyond representing the city. They are the city. The city and them, their destiny, it's one. Like, what is there not to love about the Buffalo Bills? They represent the very best qualities of what it means to be an American, right? You get your hands dirty. Nobody, you're the underdog. No respect.
Nothing's given to you.
Nothing's given to you. And in fact, it sums it up. Like, in life, like, you can get close and it can just get snatched away. And to happen 4 times to you, Jim Kelly, who he is as a man, and rather than the city ripping them up and just destroying them, as much of the rest of the world did, right?
Yeah.
The rest of America
hated them.
Hated seeing them on the Super Bowl and losing again and again. And it's like, I think you guys as Lions fans, like, we've talked about this, like, people rip on you guys, like, do we really have to watch the Lions again on Thanksgiving again and again? And so, like, I feel like there's an element where, like, Bills fans, like, we get that. And it's funny, there was a sign that would be held up, America, we're back, deal with it. And I think, like, that in many ways could be your mantra, like, America, we're on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Deal with it. You know what I mean? And as you guys,
it's our only primetime game. Deal with it.
But you know what though? Like, as you guys are in this rebuild and what you determine what this rebuild is truly going to be, and I hope it's a full throttle, let's go for it from the get-go. Like, let's really tear this thing down,
right?
And rebuild properly. I hope that can be a mantra for you. This is who we are.
Yeah. You bring up the rebuild and doing it the right way. That's something that I want to talk to you about. That is so much of what I want to talk about today. Is the fact that a few years ago, 2017, that was the first year that Sean McDermott became the coach. Brandon Beane, he was the GM. Yep. Did they come together in that first year?
They do. They come together in that first year, but actually Sean McDermott was in that 2017 draft. He was drafting with the former GM at that time, Doug Whaley, and Brandon Beane was not a part of the 2017 draft. He comes. Whaley ends up getting fired the next day, and Brandon Beane is then brought in about.
And
you
guys selected
Tre'Davious White with our first pick. That is Sean McDermott's first pick in the draft.
So Chicago chose Mitch Trubisky. Here we are, and you're looking at the rebuild, and you're looking at a proper rebuild. As a Buffalo Bills fan, when Beane and McDermott come in and they start the rebuild, and you start watching them select certain guys, your defense, then the next year, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, we'll get to Josh Allen, but talk to me about the whole rebuild and what it's like to rebuild. How do you say correctly?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is just like you can't cheat a rebuild. Like you can't. There's no like fast cut way to doing this. Like it is painful. What's right for Detroit might not necessarily be right for Buffalo or for Jacksonville or for the Jets for that matter. But with regard to like a very broad picture of a rebuild, you can't approach it in a very like half-mannered take on it. Like you can't be like, well, we're gonna like move this piece over here. So I feel like for you guys as Lions Nation out there, Honolulu Blue, you guys like you have a big moment here. Like this is your come to Jesus moment. You're looking in the mirror right now though, and you're saying, who are we? Right? You're looking and you're like, I am displeased with the product that we've seen. And you've even seen, your new owner,
Sheila Ford Ham.
She came right out and was like, this product is not quality. I'm embarrassed for the fan base. Yeah. And like, that's refreshing to hear.
To
hear ownership say like, this is
especially
embarrassing. You guys have some problems with how things have been run in the past. Yeah. So it's a big step forward to have somebody say, we're not okay with the product that is being pushed here. Rebuilding, you have to rip this thing down, and you're going to have to be willing to do things that don't make sense. When Sean McDermott came in, he kept preaching this idea of trust the process. Trust the process. At this point here, that phrase, trust the process, when you say that to a Bills fan, like it immediately like, oh, Sean McDermott, like that's his language. He did things. If you look, you kind of actually scratch your head. You're like, what? Like you got rid of Sammy Watkins. You end up shipping off McCoy towards the end of his career. You get Kelvin Benjamin, and then you end up sending him out. You bench Tyrod Taylor and you put in Nathan Peterman. Like these are moments like the rebuild process is not going to be perfect. Mistakes will be made.
Right.
And that's something like I guess I wanted to express is like this last 3 years, like the trajectory has been up, but there are valleys. I'll never forget like when we took on the Jags and we lost in the playoffs, but it was a big deal. We got that 18-year playoff drought like right off our back. It felt great, and fans were
Andy Dalton everywhere.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, we love you. Chicken wings forever. Duffs, come on now, get that blue cheese. So I remember listening on the radio and like the One Bills Drive at that time, the radio station. They were talking to Beane and they were like, dude, like this is incredible. Like you were able to get to the playoffs. What do you think about the future? I remember Beane, our general manager, he was like, whoa, hold your horses here. I just want to make it clear, we might have to take a step back before we take two forward. Don't be expecting next year to be like, oh, we're going to win 2 games in the playoffs and then this AFC Championship. It's no, like we've got a lot of cap space to deal with. We're in the red right now. We've got to get in the black. We've got to let go of some people that don't fit our locker room culture. That's another thing I guess I wanted to bring up for Lions fans is like this issue of culture. Like culture is everything. Like if a player does not fit your culture, you have to ask the question, okay, well, like he's great, like does he fit your culture? Is he a team player? Is he helping you move forward piece by piece? It's a methodical process. So like
that's a lot of what our issue was though with Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia came in with his own idea of what he wanted the culture to be.
The Patriot way.
The friggin' Patriot way.
Yeah.
And so he comes in and guys that like, and I know this is a conversation I've had with you guys about Darius Slay. And when the culture wasn't what Patricia wanted, what did he do? He ships guys like Quinn and Slay off, and he ends up just getting 16 expats to make the culture what he needed it to be.
Yeah.
Which was not what Detroit needed it to be. And I think Detroit as a city is so misunderstood. And then the culture of the locker room is so misunderstood that nothing seems to jive. Yeah. So when a dude comes from New England, there was this expectancy of be what I came from rather than saying, where are you men at?
Yeah.
And that was bad. It wasn't like the creating of a culture.
Yes.
Not the proper way.
And look at even so, like, I mean, it's infamous now, that whole Gronk interview where he was like, oh, yeah, I was traded to Detroit and I told him no and I retired and I ended up playing with Tom Brady. Like that's trash, first of all. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But that kind of shows you the kind of person that he is. So I don't even know if you'd want him on your team.
No.
Anyway.
No.
But when you look at that, so, like, part of the culture is like, and Buffalo was here where it was like, I don't want to play in Buffalo. Let's talk about, like, Antonio Brown. Like, that happened last year where AB straight up was like, oh, I'll play in Buffalo if I don't have to go to practice. And Sean McDermott looked and was like, "You get out, like you're not playing for me." And then AB goes on ripping Buffalo for a couple days on Twitter, this or that. Like, yeah, you guys almost had me today. We don't need him. And, like, it's moments like that where, like, McDermott and Bean say, "You don't fit our culture. Like, you're gonna come in the locker room, you're gonna pull that. We don't play like that here. Everybody." Shoulders the burden here. Nobody is above someone else here,
which is so apparent with somebody like Stefon Diggs.
Let's go.
So, like, when that trade happened, as an outside, as a Bills backer, like, always rooting for you guys. When I saw that trade go down, my initial thoughts, and, like, I'm a little ashamed to say it, but, like, my initial thoughts were like, oh boy, is this gonna work? Like, was he actually the problem he was in Minnesota? And, like, all the fear kind of creeps in. Last night, watching him against the Patriots, him and Josh Allen,
they were just boys having fun.
Just a couple guys
balling
having fun
in the backyard. I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but, like,
take
Diggs,
it where you need to.
I'm trying to remember the particular game. It might have been the
Miami?
49ers. He lays this sick block. I mean, that's not in his job description. He can kind of get in the way, little guy. He throws this massive block to let Dawson Knox dive through the end zone. I mean, an incredible, not in his job description. Here's a guy going to be a cancer in the locker room. He's running up and down the sideline, getting people fired up. He's laying blocks, on defensive backs, on linebackers. And you're like, people were ripping on you being a cancer. Like, he's bought in. And this is what I'm talking about. You, like, in the creation of your culture, I'm hearing the words of Sean McDermott in the back of my mind, trust the process. Here's a guy that we vetted. Here's a guy that we took a look at and said, like, no. We think, like, he's in a bad situation right now in Minnesota because of whatever the quarterback situation is, that, high run game. He feels like he's not getting the ball. My boy is balling out in Buffalo. Best season, first Pro Bowl appearance this year. Like, currently leads the NFL in most receptions and most total yards received. So to have both of them right now just blowing away Bills franchise records, my man is crushing it. He's anything but a cancer. He's bought into the process. Trust the process.
Right.
And now you're beginning to see, like, this is like it's snowballing. People want to come to Buffalo, right?
Yeah,
Diggs is there. Beasley's there, right? John Brown's there. Like, people like, I want to ball with Josh Allen. That defense is tight. Like, they're nasty. I want to play in Buffalo. So as a Bills fan, and, like, I would say this, like, it all goes back to that culture. Culture is everything. If you don't have that culture, build it. And, like, this is your opportunity. You're looking in the mirror. Who do we want to be?
Yeah, because we're looking to hire a new GM and head coach tandem. So, like, when you have that happening, you're really saying, what is the culture that we want to create?
Yes.
We tried the Quinn Patricia way. It didn't work. It was just a B team of the Patriots.
Yes.
And so, there was no culture that people wanted to follow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Stafford, he's struggling. He's I love Stafford. What a gifted, what an underrated quarterback. People don't talk about Stafford enough. Dude is playing with broken ribs. Like, my man is a baller.
He's the toughest guy. He might be the toughest guy in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think, it's frustrating, right? Because you're like, we have a top-tier quarterback, and you lost a couple close games this year. You got Galladay, you got Amendola. Like, you have these pieces floating around. I think, like, you get ownership. It comes down to ownership right now. Who are they going to hire? You can't expect this to be overnight.
So you bring up an excellent a point. You said a word, process.
Yeah.
My question for you is simply this. Josh Allen?
Let's go.
Allen gets picked.
Yeah.
And people seemed to have hated it across the nation.
Yeah.
Bills fans are not. People were just so confused by it.
Yes.
Walk me through your process from that day when you heard the name Josh Allen.
And that pause, just the pregnant pause hanging. It was crazy.
He left it.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew. Friggin' Goodell.
Yeah.
So, with Allen being selected, your initial thoughts, then your thoughts after rookie year, and your thoughts now. Walk me through as a Buffalo Bills fan. Josh Allen.
Yeah, so, like, just being candid about that night in 2018. First of all, just to say, like, you guys in, Detroit fandom right now, like, you're about to go on an incredibly exciting but also miserable adventure of trying to find that quarterback, right? Stafford's getting a little bit older. People are talking, are we going to draft QB this draft class? It's exciting. It is miserable. You're going to invest countless hours into researching potential Christmas gifts that you will not open on Christmas morning. That night going into it, and I know that you have a bit of a Browns following here. Actually going into
boys in Cleveland,
there you go, right? I liked Baker Mayfield. He was among them all the guy I wanted most.
I remember.
I just felt like he was super Buffalo. Like I felt like
loved
he would
his
just
attitude.
I loved like his spunk, like his fire.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. And so going into it, watching
he had the me against the world mentality.
Yes. And it kind of like
Detroit versus everybody.
Yes.
Mentality.
Yeah. So I actually was a big fan of Baker. So to see him go first overall, because I heard about the rumors that day, like, oh shoot, he's, like apparently that day there was this, surging popularity of him and that he was going to go first. I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh shoot, I was hoping he'd drop. People would be afraid that he was too short and,
maybe
whatever.
Maybe be a Manziel type of thing.
Yeah. And like, he's going to, implode. And so I was like, okay, he'll drop to us. That'll be awesome. So I did a lot of imagining of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you were big on Baker.
Yeah. I actually liked Allen second most. So actually when Baker goes first overall, I was working at the school. I was actually like preparing punch. It was like a National Junior Honor Society for the students. So like I was getting ready and I had the draft going on the laptop in the back, and I was just like watching it, kind of like putting the punch together, bringing it out, coming back. Saw Baker goes, and I was like, well, like Allen would be my next pick. So to hear that, okay. Long story short, Darnold's off the board, Baker's off the board, and now it comes down to it's really Rosen and Allen at this point. Those were kind of considered your next two. Lamar, a lot of people were kind of sleeping on him at that
obviously,
point.
He didn't go until what, 30, 31, 32?
Yeah, 32.
32.
So, yeah, looking back at it, like when that moment, Josh Allen, that pregnant pause, I remember I was watching it in the back of the cafeteria with a Chiefs fan, and he turns to me and he goes, "What do you think?" And I just was like, my words were, I don't know how to feel.
Sure.
Because,
okay. Right.
Well, like your mind was just overloaded with information. Like Josh Rosen is the most NFL QB, NFL ready quarterback in this draft. Look at his form, right.
Right.
But he challenges coaches. Like I feel like sometimes too, like narratives just kind of catch to a guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're just kind of like where did that narrative
Josh
even start?
Allen can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, but like like nobody has ever been successful that has not broken 60% completion rate in their college days. And you're like, well, what about Brett Favre? There are anomalies to it. So like it's funny because like people like brought that up all the time. Like, oh, he'll never get better than this. And now you're like, my man is like at 68% right now. Yep. Like almost he's at the 70% threshold. Mm-hmm. He's balling, and you're like,
he's just gotten so much better.
Where are all these haters? All these people that were like, oh, like he'll never progress.
Yes. I remember back in August before the season began, you, me, were in a text thread with another guy, and the other guy's words were, well, I like Allen. He's a good dude, but the boy can't hit the broadside of a barn.
That text didn't age well.
Did not age well because 1 month later, he is hitting everything. I'm talking
MVP candidate.
Unbelievable play. Like, I just sat there and I was just scratching my head because, like, there was this element of me that was like, man, he does overthrow a bit and this and that. But he has just, he's just gotten incredible.
And here's the thing, like, it has been so exciting. Like, the rest of the league, like, you guys know, too, like, when you're watching a player that you draft and, like, you're excited about and to see them making progress, nobody understands that feeling of, like, love and appreciation for that player the way that you do. When we got Allen, like, it was just like we got a new toy for Christmas. I'll never forget, in that, we played a preseason game. The first time he throws the ball, he just reared back, hucks this thing like 50, 60 yards.
Yeah.
It goes out of bounds. Like it was nowhere even near the wide receiver.
Yeah.
The stadium, like if you go back and watch the play, first throw ever, the mere fact that the dude threw the ball 50 yards after years of Tyrod Taylor checking down and running out like for a 4-yard run, the stadium gave him a standing ovation in a preseason game for overthrowing a wide receiver. It was incredible. I was sitting there watching like giddy, like, oh my God, he threw the ball that far.
Wow.
Like it was so exciting just because, and also too, as part of Buffalo's culture, like you had big Jim Kelly dropping bombs all those years. So it's like, here's Kelly, the second coming of Kelly. Yeah, the long and the short of it is like it has been one heck of a ride.
Yeah.
I have loved the Josh Allen experience. Even in his first year, I think we went like 6-10. And there were some tough losses. He didn't play every game. He was hurt a little bit. He got hurt in the Texans game in 2018. But just to watch the progression, just to watch the potential out there on the field, him balling, him running around, like, exciting stuff, and I love it.
No, it's a great word for it because I think, like, as somebody who watches the Lions and the Bills every week, every week I got the Lions and the Bills game on.
Right on.
I am just always in awe of the Bills gameplay because it's fun.
It's fun.
It's just fun.
And I've never had, like, watching the Bills has not been this much fun in my entire life.
Yeah.
You win a game 17-14.
Yeah.
You lose a game like 10-13.
Yeah, you guys were struggling to put over 20 last year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And like your defense was so stout and would hold people. Like defense won games for us. Now it's like the offense is like, come on, catch up. Like we need you to stop the run. Like what's going on here? I don't even know. It's so like I'm just not used to it. I'm confused and I'm having fun. And it's just, you literally believe you can score every single drive.
Yeah.
And you expect them to score. And to be putting up, 40-plus points over these last couple of games here, I mean, 30, 38 last night, like right at that cusp, you're like, this is unheard of. I'm used to scoring, 19 points.
Right.
And losing 19-20.
Right.
It's just, it's next level. If you look at Allen's first year, he had no one to throw to. It's his first year. He's figuring stuff out. He just came from Wyoming. He's got no O-line. People remember, they're like, oh, shoot, Josh Allen can run. Yeah, because he was running for his life every play. He had to use his legs. He had no O-line. Pocket collapse. It's like, oh, dang. Like, I remember just him running all over Jacksonville. And, like, he was rushing for 100 yards a game, like, week after week, and you're like, wow. We drafted this guy for his arm and his legs. Like, he grew his legs on the job. But the maturity of, like, I have an O-line in front of me. I'm gonna stand here. My big boy's gonna protect me.
Yep.
I have wide receivers to throw to. I got a Beasley. I got a Brown. I got a Gabriel Davis.
Yeah.
I've got a Diggs. I've got Singletary flushing out in the flats. Like,
sure.
I got a crew here. I trust them with the ball. I mean,
and that's big because there was an element about him when he was his rookie year. Yeah. It was kind of this like, I got to take care of business.
Yes.
I got to get the job done.
Yes.
Well, but when he's got the pieces.
Right on.
And you can see it in his mind where he's like, well, I got Diggs. I got Beasley. I got Brown. I got Davis.
Yes.
And he's just smoking the ball.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful to see, like you said, that maturation,
that
growth of trusting his teammates and the pieces that have been acquired for him.
Yes, and that's your GM doing work for you. So whoever you get, like, I hope they sit down and they have a vision for the kind of team that the city of Detroit needs.
Sure.
Right? What does that culture look like?
Yeah.
Who's going to be your guy that you're going to roll the dice on? Because when you're drafting a quarterback, you're rolling the dice, right? We were one last name away from choosing Josh Rosen. Drafting well is so key. I think the stat is that currently Sean McDermott, out of his 29 total drafts, 22 of them are still playing on the Buffalo Bills now. And 11 of them are starters. And you're talking about first-round drafters, first-rounders like Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds being aggressive in the draft, being smart, knowing, and accumulating draft capital. You have to be willing to look and say, like, you know what? Stafford might be beyond. Send him to the 49ers, whatever it is. I'm just using him as an example.
No, that's a great example. So, like, that's so much of the talk right now is what to do with Stafford.
So, like, you need to ask these questions. I remember, and it's hard because as a fan, you fall in love with these players, right? Like, there was a time where
you got the number on your back
every
Sunday.
Right on. Like we had McCoy, and he's aging. And I remember Philadelphia, they were having running back problems, and they were like, hey, like, they were willing to trade, and we didn't do it. And you were kind of like, I remember being like, but he's shady, right? Like he's ours. Like, Like, I don't want to ship
No,
them
that's
off.
fair.
But like we did, we shipped off a lot of different guys for draft capital, and you're combining this, this pick here and trading this person. I feel like Brandon Bean, I was thinking about it before. He's like the kid who like gets a flip phone when he's like 12 years old, and he's like, I'm going to eBay and I am gonna sell this for something a little bit better, and I'm gonna trade this for this.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
he turns a flip phone into like a Mustang. He ends up, and you're like, how the heck did you acquire a Mustang?
Right.
It's like, well, I traded 22
It's like
times
the
to
Office
make this.
episode.
Yes.
Yeah, with Dwight.
Exactly. And so like that is him doing work, him gaming the system.
Sure, because some people just kind of lock and key on those specific guys. Well, we got Stafford, and we got Golladay, and so we're just gonna hold out for as long as we can, and then you never build off of that momentum, and you just sort of plateau, and you stay stagnant. And I mean, quite frankly, dude, you mentioned it. Something I want to talk about is the AFC East Champions. Take me there.
Let's go. My God.
What does that feel like, Bobby? 25 years in the making.
I mean, it was huge. And just to see all of the former stars like from the Super Bowl days shouting them out on Twitter, on Instagram, incredible. The outpouring of love, taking the AFC East after 20 years of oppressive, tyrannical rule by the Patriots, just flipping the switch and saying it's over. And like, don't get me wrong, like Miami, a little nervous about them in the future.
Very fair.
Not so much this year, a little bit in the future. They got a lot of draft picks, a lot of that capital we were talking about. That's going to be a solid team to deal with in a couple years if Tua becomes who they hope he becomes.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see, right? Jury's out. You never know. To be the AFC East champs, like, it means the world. I mean, how would it feel for you if if you dethroned the Cheeseheads, right? And you had to watch Aaron Rodgers just hang his head.
I would just make a video of me that's 1 hour long, just sipping whiskey, laughing. That would just be it. That's what's gonna happen, world. You're gonna get that 1 hour.
Yes.
No, but yes, the dethroning of somebody like Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I can't imagine it because I remember the first year. I remember the Brady Tuck. I remember Oakland and that whole game. And you're just sitting there. And little did we know that was the start of what would be the evil empire.
I remember being a little kid and watching it on you were 12 years old and you're like, oh shoot, like this guy came out of nowhere or whatever.
Yeah. You're like,
here
cool.
we are still talking about him in our 30s. Like not okay.
Yeah.
It's only looking up. Like I was talking to somebody, like what is it like to be a Bills fan, and like you just feel like you are on a train, a high speed train, and there's no brakes. Josh Allen is the conductor, and he's just heaving coal in the engine room, and the train is just going faster and faster. There's no brakes. Sure, look, train could come off the rails this year. Like, you could get bounced pretty quickly in the playoffs. Anything can happen any given Sunday.
Yeah, look at Baltimore last year.
Look at it, right? And, like, that's a team that people were like, that's a Super Bowl team.
Super Bowl.
Like, it could happen. Like, I'm a Bills fan. I've seen it all.
Charlie Brown life, man.
Yeah, we know, right? We know. So when you've built a team like this, you're setting yourself up for success because the probability is in your favor of winning. You've created a disciplined group of men that love each other.
What do you want to say to Bills Mafia? What do you want to say to Bills Mafia?
Hey, buy your tables now. Buy them now. Ain't gonna be nothing left. I'm gonna break them all.
All right, and then lastly, what words can you give Detroit Lions fans for our future as a Buffalo Bills fan? As somebody who has been in the slums. Now you guys are moving on to the Slumdog Millionaire.
Let's go.
What can you say to Lions fans everywhere?
Yeah, I'd say it can be done. Like, I know it feels like it can't be done and that, like, you are in this perpetual draft purgatory of being 8-8 or, 6-10 and just like, well, what it can be done. You have an opportunity here to look in the mirror and say, who do we want to be? What is our culture?
Right.
Is our tandem GM head coach going to understand the city, understand what these men need, be willing to roll the dice on, kind of controversial draft picks, people like Josh Allen, people that they believe in, and say, I'm going to tie myself to this person here. Mm-hmm. Are you, as a fan base, willing to suffer the setbacks and the head-scratching moments? Are you willing to deal with the embarrassment of, like, Antonio Brown-like situations where he's ripping you up on Twitter, where Vontae Davis retires in halftime? Like, that happened to us. You're talking about the Bills that are a Super Bowl contender right now, and Vontae Davis retiring at halftime. Like, that was a joke. There are setbacks along the way, but who do you want to be? It's not going to be pretty always. it's going to be a piece by piece, a methodical process. I'd encourage you, find that GM, find that head coach, roll the dice on the quarterback that you believe in, set up that culture, and trust the process.
Love it.
The process works.
Bills fans, what I see is the positivity of the, like, we will get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the pain and the hurt lies with Lions fans is this. It's been 60 years of my life.
Yeah.
Screw it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about Buffalo, Buffalo Bills fans, the city of Buffalo, is this coming together.
Yes.
They're the city of good neighbors. This feeling and this thought process of we'll get there. And when we do, you'll see. You just wait and see. You know what I'm saying? Like, every dog has their day type of mentality. And I love that about Bills fans. I love that about your city. And I am so amped to see where this train ride goes.
Let's go, baby. One way or another, it's going to be a heck of a view.
That's it, man. Thank you again, Bobby, for coming on to Let's Talk Lions. I appreciate it. Thank you for talking Bills.
Right on.
Everything that's going on. Best of luck winning the division, going on in the playoffs. So amped to see where the Bills go.
Let's get it.
And I'll catch you next time.
Come on.
Let's Talk Lions.